and welcome to On Fleek Digital Magazine TV. My name is Susan Van Brackle, and I am your host. Today's interview is with a businesswoman extraordinaire. Her name is Lady English. Lady English is a multi-award-winning businesswoman, a mom, an avid soccer fan.
Lady English hosts her own radio show entitled The English Connection, which airs on WVIP 93.5 FM.
I would like to welcome Lady English to On Fleek Digital Magazine TV. Welcome.
Thank you, On Fleek, for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. You are quite the one, because everybody knows about the English Connection.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, we're a popular radio show. The English Connection media was established in 2014, but I actually started on New York radio in 2008. I used to host a gentleman show, Mr. Keelan Beckford. He is a prominent Jamaican reggae singer. So I used to host his show, the Keelan Super Mix. And from there, Professor Hugh was the engineer. And from there on, we went on to do our own show, because I was frustrated about the lack of, information about the UK, the lack of music, because the music in America, in the tri-state area, as far as Caribbean music, is quite limited.
So that was your incentive, the lack and the void of that particular genre of music?
Yeah, because I was a journalist from the age of 19, right, in the UK. So I used to write for a reggae magazine. I used to review the records that came out, and I used to cover all the live events when people used to come in from Jamaica. And when I moved to America in 95, by then I'd evolved to writing people's press releases. I was a publicist, and I used to do artist management. So when I came here, it was really to work in music. It wasn't, I never sold anything before in England. I had a regular city job. My side thing was the writing and the journalism. So when I did eventually decide to come out here, I was only going to come for a year, but it was to work in music. I was sending my resumes out to all the different labels, Puff Daddy and Def Jam, but I didn't get a job. I got an internship at Raucous Records in Manhattan. So that's how I came.
Wow. But the fact that you even have a radio station at WVIP FM?
93.5 FM is brokered radio in New York, all right? So it's the only Caribbean station. There's many different presenters on there. DJ Roy, you might have heard of Irie Jam. You have Groovin Radio. They do lots of events in Queens. They do Groovin in the Park. So, we pay for the time on that station, and it's quite expensive. So we're all looking for sponsorship all the time to be able to pay for the airtime, but it's not free. So, we don't have many hours on there, because you be paying, if you have a daytime show, then it's like $500-600 an hour, right? And nighttime is $300. So you're constantly looking for sponsors to pay for the time, or you end up paying for it yourself.
Right. Radio at one point was, the premier way of communication for, all people of color across the country. Right. It has a long history. And then it waned. It kind of went away. But when you told me that you were on radio and had a radio station, I was encouraged that it's coming back. Would you say that radio is making a resurgence?
It's not that it went away, but it's just that people have so much more options how to consume radio now, because of the internet, and all the major radio stations and conglomerates, right? They all have apps, okay? And you have Sirius XM that people get with their car and stuff like that. So there's so many more different ways to listen to radio now. And a lot of people don't even listen to local radio. They listen to international radio. Like me, I listen to a lot of English radio shows. I watch British news, so you have, there's more options now.
I would imagine that your market especially here domestically, that person who is across the pond here and is homesick to hear what they would normally or otherwise hear when they're home, that it would be a haven for them to be able to hear your station.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have a lot of support from British people here from different parts of England. I'm from London, but since I've come here, you know, I discovered English parties. We have English reggae parties. You know, we have British meetups all the time. We go to see shows or we go to eat. So, you know, there's quite a few, you know, when you move to a new country, a new area, you're always looking for your communities.
Well, when you came here, did you settle into doing journalism since that was your background back in England?
Not at all. I mean, like I said, I got an internship. I got two internships. The first one was in New Jersey, and it was for a rock artist called Papa. I think his name was Papa Rock, if I remember. So I was the assistant to his manager. Okay. And I used to do, you know, all the administrative tasks, and I used to mail out his records, and it was basic. Eventually got accepted into Raucous Records, which is in Lower Manhattan. And that was a hip hop label. It was a lot more exciting. And so, you know, I left that other one and went to work in the city. You have to go out every night. So it took a toll on me. But luckily, when I first came, I had a daughter at the time. So she was like 4 when I left her. I came for 6 months, a year to find a place. And then, you know, the following year I went home for the Christmas, and then she came back when she was 5. But yeah, so I couldn't do that stuff anymore because you can't go out every night if you've got a 5-year-old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of the hip hop museum coming? I believe it's like hip hop is making its 50th anniversary, or
In the Bronx?
The opening of the opening of the hip hop museum is supposed to be somewhere in the Bronx.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna go check it out. I think it opened already, but you know, the history of hip hop. Obviously, I was a teenager when that genre emerged, but you know, because I know, I think it's Kool Herc, right? They credit him with starting hip hop, and you know, and he's of Jamaican descent, and his influences were, you know, the Jamaican style DJing, toasting, and hip hop was birthed out of that, you know. So it's hard for me, you know, about hip hop that it's its own genre, you know, and I always want them to acknowledge the roots of the music, which is Jamaican.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And the fact that, you know, this is a Queens show, so Jamaica Queens.
That's right.
but you know, there's this give and go as to where hip hop began. Was it in Queens or was it in the Bronx? And, you know, hand to God, I was a teenager who lived in both boroughs at the same time, and I saw both emerge concurrently. I almost can't even give it to one or the other, but if I had to give it to one, I would say the Bronx, the boogie down. Okay. But for the most part, it was concurrently. It was evolution.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was in England, obviously. I was in London, and hip hop emerged when I was still at school. You know, but we were intrigued by the music, you know, and we were already used to, you know, talking over the music because of the Jamaican style of toasting, they called it, or DJing. So my mum, she was never into reggae. She left Jamaica when she was a girl. So reggae wasn't a thing then. She was into R&B, you know, Marvin Gaye and stuff like that. So I didn't have much exposure to reggae music, but obviously you heard it on the radio. We had 1 hour of reggae music on a Saturday. I would listen to that, and Neighbours had reggae songs. But you know, we were all intrigued by hip hop. It was great.
Yes.
That style.
It was an international musical genre. But in addition to your musical chops, your journalism chops, let's talk about your business chops. You are like multifaceted.
Well, that
eBay, Amazon, you're out there, you're doing it.
That was completely by accident, because as I told you, I never did anything selling in England. I just used to wear clothes. So like I said, I dressed a certain way. because of my mum. Do you know what I'm saying? She wasn't into jeans. She dressed properly, and she liked sophisticated clothes. So I was the same. A bit more funkier though. Like I would wear mini skirts, but I always wore tights, different types of tights with patterns on, very high shoes all the time. And my style was just different. So obviously when I was here, I would get on the train and everybody would be staring. So
would you say that it was punk? Was it punk, or was it goth, or was it a combination?
No, I wouldn't say it was punk. I just think it was different because, you know, most people here, they wear jeans. You know, the women, everyone wears jeans and a baggy t-shirt. You know, some kind of jeans and a, you know, FUBU at the time, Fila, you know, that kind of dress. A lot of trainers. I never wore sneakers. Do you know what I'm saying? I always wore shoes, boots. You know, so to them, I look like I either sing or I dance or I act. I look like somebody. So people always used to stop me. So that's what gave me, people would say, you know, when you go back home, could you bring me this? Could you bring me that? And that's how I started selling originally. So that was a good source of income for me. But it was like I said, it was quite by accident. And and I was, you know, I was shy because I didn't like the attention when I did talk. People always ask me about my accent, and it got quite annoying after a while. Because, you know, like America and New York especially is a melting pot, you know, and there are all types of accents here. So it was like, I just used to get annoyed. You know,
but like, everybody loves the British accent. I'm trying not to do it because I don't want to butcher it, but everybody loves it because it's just so clean and it's just so sexy, and it's just like you want to keep listening to it.
That's funny to me. I found that hilarious when I came here, but in any event, like I said, the business aspect of me physically selling something other than my writing skills in the UK or management skills, it, you know, it was a different course, and like I said, it was quite by accident. And based on that, I opened a clothes store, you know, because the business was doing well, but what I was doing was going around to beauty salons, you know. And, you know, I would go with hangers and I was proper, and I would just stand up and hold up clothes and show people, and people would buy. But then I decided to branch out into a store. That might be 4 or 5 years later, which my first store was in on East New York Avenue, 2001. I opened Labor Day weekend.
Of your many superpowers, I know that pimento oil is one of them.
Go to Bath Fountain, but I went to Bath Fountain because people recommended it to me because it's a mineral spa. Hot water spews out of the rocks, right? And you bathe under it, and then they massage you with pimento oil. Okay, so I'd gone there. I wanted to go especially because I'd had a car accident a few months before. I was the only thing that would relieve the pain. So in Jamaica, the cortisone was wearing off, so it's starting to hurt again. So like I said, I bathed under the hot water. I was massaged with the pimento oil, and I had the best sleep that night that I ever had. It was great. The next day, I just felt like a whole different person. So I said to my friend Angela, who we went to Jamaica together, I said to her, I'd like to sell this. I know I could sell this. So we went back. I had my cousin bring us back, and I spoke to the guys who make the oils to find out what was in it, you know. So they gave me the ingredients, and I was excited. So as soon as I came back, I did my research to find out how you import leaves and the oil and stuff like that, if you're allowed to even do it. So my research led me to the FDA, which is located at JFK Airport. So I went there and spoke to someone and asked them, you know, how could I bring fever grass, pimento, all the different leaves? Because I didn't have any. I just had one bottle that I brought back with me, and I showed them, and they said, well, there's free trade with Jamaica, so I wouldn't have to pay. So I was excited. So
wow, that's a blessing.
Yeah, but they just told me that you have to, it has to come labeled and bottled, you know, with the volume, the weight, and what the ingredients are. So I had to find people to get that going. That's how it started. I just messed around with a formula. I got some olive oil from the supermarket, and I bought a bottle of Jamaican black castor oil, and I left it because they said it has to ferment. So I left all the stuff for a few days, do you know what I'm saying? And added heat to it to extract, you know, like a tea bag to extract the benefits from the leaves. And then I would just give it away on the radio. Do you know what I'm
Is
saying?
is it like an old cultural remedy?
Yeah, it's traditional. It's a traditional herbal remedy. I mean, but having said that, not every Jamaican knows about it. But what I do know about pimento, like growing up, my grandparents, they always had pimento and ginger soaked in rum, right? So if you had a fever or a cold, they would sap your chest or your forehead with the pimento, the ginger, you know, that formula. So I knew that pimento had some beneficial properties, but I didn't know obviously what it was. But, you know, before I brought it here, I really, really read a lot about it, different studies that had been done over the years. You know, I found out that they've been using pimento in the UK from 1400, whatever, you know, back in slavery times when they used to sail around to the different islands and still, you know, bring back the stuff to use in the Britain. So pimento was actually used for toothache, right? It numbs pain, and they also used to use it for people who were who they considered mentally ill, right? So numb brain cells and stuff like that. I don't know how they were giving them the solution, if you know.
Yeah, because I'm wondering, is it like an analgesic that relaxes you, or does it relieve pain? So, you know, because those are two different things in my mind. Something that relaxes versus one that relieves pain.
Right. So the analgesic actually blocks the signal. Do you know what I'm saying? It numbs the pain. So that's why I could see why they would use it as something for toothache. You know, like after they had an extraction, they would apply a solution made with pimento onto the gum to numb the pain.
Can you chew a pimento bead? Can you chew it to numb?
You could chew it too.
Like you would a clove?
Yeah, right, exactly. Because a pimento is actually like a, you know, some people call it allspice, right? But it's a blend of cinnamon, cloves, and pimento, you know, it's like that. So similar thing. But, you know, I learned so much about traditional medicine during that time, you know, and then I went to Jamaica the following year and just found out about so much more leaves, you know what I'm saying? And just reading up about the beneficial properties of all these leaves that people drink, you know, they use in their hair, all kinds of things in Jamaica.
I can almost see a book, like a holistic book out of you. Yeah, because you're mentioning ingredients that, I mean, like there's certain things that people read about in a lot of holistic books, like, you know, jojoba or ginkgo, you know, the tried and true ones. But there's some stuff you're talking about that most people
of course, and
wouldn't be familiar with.
Especially for simple ailments. I mean, they're not simple, but you know, I just find in America the way the medicine, the way the doctors are. You know, I'm annoyed that, you know, natural medicine isn't more out there. Do you know what I'm saying? Obviously, during the pandemic, people researched more and people were looking for things to, you know, optimize their immune system. So you found people eating garlic or more ginger. Okay, but these are things that the Caribbean people, Grenadians, Jamaicans, Bajans, sorry, they use anyway.
Well, I can honestly, personally say that it's been my experience that there's not a lot of input as it relates to diet and how you can best manage by either removing or increasing certain things in your diet to help you.
Exactly.
That doesn't seem to be the method. But tell me something. I mean, we're all at the precipice of 2023. What do you see for Lady English going forward? This was a banner year.
So business-wise, obviously, I've put in a lot of work, right? I mean, it's not about just selling a single unit on Amazon or eBay. You know, I've put in a lot of work. I've done a lot of training, webinars in 2022. Okay, so as a result of my hard work, I mean, I've been a minority woman's business owner for New York City since 2012. So, you know, there's a whole market there, but you have to be certified. Okay, so.
And you say you're certified. You've been certified since 2012 with minority woman business enterprise.
Right, so this year I did more. So now I'm WeBank certified and a WOSB, which is basically a woman-owned small business, recognized by the government. So I can, so if the government are looking for supplies, now I can bid for those. Just like working a 9-to-5 job, you're not going to get wealthy working a 9-to-5. I used to work 9-to-5 as well as selling my clothes. And in 2007, I just said, I'm going to resign. I had to step out in faith and just, trust God and rely on my business. So,
that's fantastic. And that is truly a testament that if you stepped out in 2007 and you're still hanging in there, that is,
I mean, it hasn't all been smooth. I mean, some months I haven't been able.
It's never that.
Right. But the point is if you do get to a place where money really isn't coming in as you'd like, then, it forces you to look at what else is out there. And that's what WeBank, that's why WeBank came into play, WBEs.
It's competitive, all right. But you know what? There's always room for a valid, good product. There's always women that are out there that are willing to buy it. So that's the good news.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm so happy that I've been able to meet people like you. You're a small businesswoman yourself. And I like to align myself with people like you, women like you, because, I'm really happy to surround myself with, dedicated, focused, strong women and men, of course, who are just going out there and doing their thing and just trying to build generational wealth for their families.
That's fantastic. And that is like a perfect end to our segment because, Lady English, you get 2 snaps up and you're doing what you're doing. I mean, you stepped out on faith, you continue to keep it moving, and you're making things happen. And you've surrounded yourself with like-minded entrepreneurs. Also, have you tell the viewers about your station, when they can listen, how they can tune in so that they can hear more of the music, the culture, and everything else that's coming out of the English Connection?
Sure. So on Saturday mornings, we do 8 till 10 a.m. in the morning at studios at soundchatradio.com. Most people listen on the app. All right. So soundchatradio.com. All right. Sunday afternoons, we do 2 till 4. We stream on 93.5, the English Connection Media.com, Silk Radio, which is in London, 99.1 FM in St. Petersburg, Florida. We have Caribbean Pepper Pot Radio, which is in Brooklyn, 103.7. Island Worldwide, which is an internet radio station, and we're on a station called Turn It Up Radio, TUNITUP Radio, Turn It Up Radio. They're based out of Jamaica. So there's many ways to consume the English Connection media, and I do hope to be able to share some airtime with some of your listeners, you know what I'm saying, for On Fleek. So thank you.
Yes, because it is quite the show. Lots of energy, lots of conversation, lots of great music, and lots of fun. So please definitely tune into the English Connection and Lady English, because she is something else.
Thank you. Thank you for your platform. Thank you to your audience. I appreciate you. And I wish you well with your show and your designs, which are so unique as well. So you would do really well in England. So, we'll make a trip over there soon.
That's right. I keep, begging Lady English to, pack me in her suitcase so I can go and see the English experience through her eyes.
Of course. Remember, King Charles going to be coronation in May. So maybe you want to look at the tickets around May the 6th. I think his coronation will be. So
it's a tourist coronation, just like William's tourist wedding. That's the reason why I was there, because I was there for my birthday as a tourist. So maybe wonderful. I got to go back, because the Queen was a tourist.
That's right. So visit England. It's a nice place.
Visit England. That's going to be Lady English's next doing trips to Great Britain.
That's right. I'm always advocating. I'm British, like I said, by way of Jamaica, but I am proud of my culture. and I absorb every aspect of British culture.
Lady English, thank you so much for your time and your words and, your experience that you're sharing with people. Thank you.
That's right.
And have a happy holiday.
Just encouraging you. If you get the idea in your head, God wouldn't tell you if he didn't want you to do it. So you should step out in faith. Do you know what I'm saying? If it comes in your head, if you think it, you can do it. So that's how it is.
Perfect. Never words have been truer. Right. And we'll be right back.
Thank you.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Well, people, we've come to the end of another show, and we've also come to the end of another year. So find your joy, get out, see what's happening in and around town, from downtown to uptown, from Manhattan to Queens, from our house to your house.